grizzly bear enters the hunt like an unstoppable force, fast, heavy, and precise. Not only the prey is tested, other predators are forced to give ground in the face of that weight and confidence. Each encounter becomes a collision of strategy, territory, and the will to endure. The wild turns into an arena where one mistimed beat can mean losing control. And when every movement finally stops, which animal makes everyone clear a path? The grizzly bear is one of the largest omnivores in North America, with an adult male weighing around 1,300 pounds, built to store and release energy efficiently. Its raised shoulder hump is the center of its power, allowing it to dig, flip rocks, and command space in just a few short movements. An exceptional sense of smell helps the grizzly detect food from miles away, turning patience into a strategic advantage. More than just strong, the grizzly is also a symbol of adaptation, enduring harsh winters and helping maintain ecological balance in the places it dominates. When the breeding season spreads across the northern forests, the atmosphere tightens in a different way. Male grizzly bears begin redrawing the map of dominance through scent and deep claw marks carved into tree trunks, often higher than 7 feet. Across territories spanning hundreds of square miles, each mark delivers a clear message. This ground is already claimed. Before any direct contact occurs, confrontation usually begins as psychological pressure. Two individuals weighing close to 1,000 pounds move in parallel, shoulders lifted, bodies displayed to exaggerate true size. Low-frequency sounds travel nearly half a mile, testing the resolve of a rival from a distance. Only when neither side yields does tension rise further. Heavy shoulder checks and brief attempts to control position unfold quickly, forcing one bear to retreat rather than prolong the encounter. In most cases, the weaker individual withdraws, as even minor injury can turn the coming winter into a serious risk. At the edge of the dispute, female grizzlies observe in silence. Their choice is shaped not only by momentary strength, but by the ability to hold territory and safeguard cubs during their fragile early months. For grizzly bears, rivalry within their own kind is not simply about mating. It is a test of balance between power, experience, and long-term survival instinct. On high mountain slopes and in elevated valleys, deer become a crucial energy source as berry season begins to fade. At up to around 250 pounds, each animal represents a valuable reserve of protein that helps grizzly bears maintain condition before the cold sets in. Instead of a prolonged chase, the grizzly relies on short burst speed of up to 35 miles per hour and turns the landscape into an ally. It applies quiet, steady pressure, guiding the deer toward rocky inclines, muddy stream banks, or loose forest floor, where every stride costs more than expected. Constant pressure quickly disrupts the deer's defensive formation. A single loss of footing can bring the pursuit to an immediate end. In high-elevation ecosystems, victory does not belong to the fastest, but to the one that understands the vertical terrain and knows when to finish at the right moment. Gray wolves operate like a collective machine across the valleys of Yellowstone. They accelerate up to 40 miles per hour, cut angles, close loops, and guide prey into precise control points that allow them to command a vast hunting range. Then the grizzly bear appears, not by charging, but simply by stepping in. Slow, heavy, and deliberate, its presence alone is enough to disrupt the wolves' familiar rhythm. In temperatures near 0 degrees Fahrenheit, every close approach must be recalculated because a single misstep carries real risk. The size difference immediately forms an invisible barrier. Each wolf weighs around 130 pounds, while a grizzly can stand nearly 9 feet tall, an imposing visual and psychological pressure that keeps the pack from closing distance. The wolves continue to circle, testing angles and trying to stretch the formation, but the gap refuses to shrink. Coordination signals drift, and the surrounding pattern begins to fracture. After multiple probing passes, the pack is forced to withdraw, not from weakness, but because this encounter offers no safe opening to advance. The meeting ends with a rule as cold as stone: numbers do not always decide control. North American bison stand like living fortresses across the Yellowstone backcountry, a species with high alertness and lightning-fast reactions to intrusion. At around 2,200 pounds, with horns nearly 2 feet long, they are not only powerful, but also ready to push back to protect the herd. When the grizzly bear appears, the herd's familiar rhythm shifts immediately. It keeps close to the group, studying formation, wind direction, and terrain, waiting for a small break in the herd's collective protection. Tension rises when an adult bison detects the threat and surges forward at nearly 35 miles per hour, forcing the grizzly to step back to avoid impact. But in that moment of disruption, the herd's focus stretches thin. A younger bison, lighter and slower, slips outside the protective ring. With patience and sharp situational reading, the grizzly quickly closes the distance and takes control of the space. The energy payoff from a rare opening like this can reach around 200,000 calories, enough to repay many days of waiting. In a test, this harsh persistence becomes the grizzly's most essential tool for survival. In northern river systems, salmon season becomes the biological clock of the old forests. Millions leave the ocean and travel hundreds of miles upstream to return to their birthplace, carrying an energy source the grizzly bear cannot ignore. In the cold water, the grizzly does not rush. It selects natural bottlenecks in the current, low falls, rocky rapids, narrow bends, where salmon are forced to break the surface in short jumps, revealing clear paths. Here, the terrain performs much of the difficult work. The grizzly's focus is nearly absolute. Every movement is calculated to limit energy use. When a silver flash appears, the front legs extend with precision, securing control in an instant. A single successful catch can provide around 4,500 calories, enough for the body to add close to 3 pounds of fat per day during peak season. Not every reach ends cleanly. Rather than pursue, the grizzly steps back, adjusts position, and remains still beside the rushing water. Within this ecological cycle, strength lies in conserving energy and using it at the right moment. Each fish becomes a quiet step that carries the grizzly from a brief summer towards the long winter sleep ahead. In northern wetlands and open boreal forests, the moose appears like a prehistoric giant, the region's largest plant eater. An adult male carries antlers spanning more than 6 feet, and when pressured, it can counter instantly. For most lone predators, it is not simply prey. It is a high-risk opponent that can push back. That is why the grizzly does not choose a straight charge into a wall of antlers. It chooses to break the balance through terrain. Muddy slopes and water deeper than 2 feet can turn the moose's long-legged advantage into a weakness. Each heavy step into soft ground becomes a lost beat, a slower turn, a harder recovery. One wrong step is enough for the balance to shift. The grizzly applies pressure at the right moment, in the right place. Never rushed, only certain. If it works, the reward can reach around 400,000 calories, a critical reserve for the long winter ahead. But nature doesn't follow a fixed script. With a calf nearby, a female moose can become a living shield, so determined that every forward step from the grizzly becomes a gamble. This confrontation is not only a test of strength, it is a survival hand, where mud, timing, and resolve decide who earns the right to move forward into a harsh winter. The lion drives into the hunt like a burst of muscle, fast, precise, and decisive. But on the open savanna, the obstacle is not always the prey. Sometimes it is another hunter. When eyes lock, the hunt transforms into an immediate contest for control. Power does not lie in a roar, but in closing the distance at exactly the right moment. Miss the timing by even a fraction, and it becomes clear who truly holds dominance. In the rivers and wetlands of Africa, the Nile crocodile stands as an ancient hunting machine. Stretching over 15 feet in length and weighing more than 1,000 pounds, it is armored muscle shaped for the art of ambush. Its strength is not built on speed, but on patience, remaining motionless beneath the surface, waiting for the moment a single step lands too close to the water's edge. In an instant, calm water can turn into a trap. Even so, cases where a crocodile fully overpowers an adult lion are uncommon. Most encounters end as boundary tests rather than full engagement. Both animals recognize that a single reckless moment can cost days of lost energy, making timely withdrawal the wiser choice. For lion cubs, the balance is far more fragile. One slip along the shoreline can create a brief opening for the crocodile to act. Although the pride may rush in to protect them, many situations unfold too quickly for an effective response. On land, the dynamic shifts. Lions are more agile and quicker to react, able to apply pressure that forces the crocodile away from deep water, where its primary advantage no longer holds. This encounter clearly maps nature's balance of power. Water belongs to the crocodile. Solid ground is the lion's domain. And the lesson remains unchanged. True strength lies in standing in the right place within one's environment. When a rhinoceros steps into the open savanna, the rhythm of the surrounding space shifts immediately. Even lions, the predators at the top of the food chain, do not rush forward. What stands before them is not prey, but a massive biological presence weighing over 5,000 pounds, moving like a living fortress. Skin nearly 2 inches thick functions as natural armor, absorbing impact and limiting harm. At the front, a horn approaching 5 feet in length serves not only as a defensive tool, but as a clear warning of the cost of recklessness. Formed from dense keratin, each forward thrust carries enough force to make any approaching animal reassess the risk. Lions still possess speed and explosive power. In rare situations, they may attempt approaches once effective against prey, such as zebras. But against the rhinoceros's overwhelming mass, those advantages quickly lose relevance. Most encounters conclude in restrained tension. The lion's gaze is not driven by fear, but by calculation. Conserving energy for hunts where the odds truly fall in its favor. Within Africa's river ecosystems, the hippopotamus is one of the animals that forces every predator to think carefully before drawing near. A fully grown individual can weigh over 3,000 pounds, with a massive body and a jaw capable of delivering nearly 1,800 psi of bite force, enough to turn any misjudgment into a costly mistake. For most of the daytime hours, hippos remain submerged to escape the intense heat. After nightfall, they leave the water and move slowly onto land to feed. This daily rhythm is one reason lions rarely view hippos as viable targets. Only young, injured, or accidentally separated individuals are ever considered. Even when a rare opportunity presents itself, a pride approaches with extreme caution. There is no direct rush. Instead, lions spread out, maintain distance, and test reactions from multiple angles. Facing an animal that can open its jaws to nearly 150 degrees, with canine teeth exceeding 20 inches in length, and the ability to accelerate up to 20 miles per hour on land, every movement must be precisely calculated. Such encounters rarely conclude quickly. They are tests of patience and situational awareness. At times, lions may exploit a brief opening, but just as often they are forced to withdraw when an adult hippo holds its ground, relying on sheer mass, endurance, and the advantage of riverbank terrain. In nature, no outcome is ever guaranteed. The spotted hyena is not simply a scavenger, as it is often misunderstood. It is a persistent hunter, living within a tightly structured matriarchal society where females hold authority and the clan operates through discipline. Behind its lean appearance lies a powerful jaw with an estimated bite force of around 1,100 psi, not used only for confrontation, but to apply psychological pressure. Its sharp calls carry across the savanna like a rally signal, announcing the clan's presence. Lions and hyenas share the same hunting grounds, so tension rarely fades. Overlapping territories, limited food resources, and even a small lapse can be enough to shift the balance. This is not an emotional rivalry, but an inevitable outcome of ecological competition. When a lioness is still guarding a kill, gray shapes begin to emerge along the edge of the grass. The hyenas do not rush in. They move slowly, tightening their formation, constantly changing angles, forcing the opponent to monitor multiple directions at once. The pressure comes from numbers and persistence, each step a silent test of boundaries. Then a male lion appears, weighing roughly 330 to 550 pounds, standing like a moving landmark on the open plain. A decisive advance, a few deep roars, and the hyena formation hesitates, retreating from the open ground. On the savanna, this is not a story of victory or defeat, but of how species reset boundaries, allowing the ecological cycle to continue on its own rhythm.
Red has ventured out alone.
On the African savanna, lions are not the only force capable of shaping order. Among potential challengers, African wild dogs are often regarded as a formidable presence, even though each individual weighs only about 50 pounds, far smaller than an adult male lion that can exceed 400 pounds. The strength of wild dogs does not come from muscle, but from how they operate as a unified system. Living in packs of 10 to 20 individuals, they combine speed and endurance to pursue prey over long distances, rotating pressure continuously until the target is exhausted. This strategy gives wild dogs one of the highest hunting success rates on the savanna. But boldness always carries risk. When a pack of wild dogs, especially less experienced individuals, moves too close to a lion's hunting grounds, the situation shifts from food gathering to a test of territory. The lion's response is often swift and decisive. With a clear advantage in strength, a single well-timed advance can be enough to break a formation that depends entirely on cohesion. This encounter reveals two opposing survival strategies. Wild dogs rely on speed and collective effort, while lions invest in power and control of space. On the savanna, status is not maintained by title, but by the ability to repeatedly assert one's role within a highly competitive ecosystem. Beyond sheer size, elephants possess advanced intelligence and long-term memory, factors that tilt any encounter with lions toward caution from the very start. When danger is detected, a herd releases low-frequency sounds that can travel more than 6 miles, while rapidly tightening formation and moving calves into the protected center. An adult African elephant can weigh over 12,000 pounds and stand more than 10 feet tall at the shoulder, making it the largest land animal on Earth. Tusks stretching close to 10 feet, combined with a highly flexible trunk, serve not only as tools for survival, but also as a means of controlling surrounding space, forcing any threat to keep its distance. In rare encounters, lions usually limit themselves to distant observation, scanning for openings around younger individuals. Yet constant vigilance and precise coordination within the herd quickly stall such calculations. Even when a calf drifts briefly out of position, the risk still weighs heavily against the predator. And with a single advance from an adult elephant, the outcome is immediately settled. Lions withdraw, revealing an undeniable ecological rule. When physical power aligns with collective intelligence and disciplined group behavior, elephants stand nearly unmatched on land. The grizzly bear does more than hunt. It helps hold the rhythm and balance of the wild. Each encounter leaves an invisible mark on the land, a reminder that strength always comes with limits. In that world, survival does not belong to the most reckless, but to the one that knows when to advance and when to stop. If these moments help the viewer feel the wild's breathing more clearly, leave a small sign. Tap like, subscribe, and continue along so the next survival stories are not missed.